Shalom, I hope you all are doing well. I'm blessed and I'm back again with a quick video. Yahusha often spoke in parables, simple stories layered with deep spiritual meaning. These parables were not just stories for entertainment, they were coded messages for those who had ears to hear, given to reveal the mysteries of the kingdom to the humble and the obedient, while concealing truth from the hardened and rebellious. When asked by his disciples why he spoke in parables, Yahusha answered them, "Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given." Parables are like spiritual keys, meant to unlock understanding in the hearts of the chosen, those who hunger and thirst after righteousness. One such parable is the parable of the 10 virgins, found in Matthew chapter 25, verses 1 through 13. Here Yahusha compares the kingdom of heaven to the 10 maidens waiting for the arrival of the bridegroom. Though they all had lamps, only 5 were wise enough to bring extra oil. I'm going to tell you this in a story style, but you can go and read it in Matthew chapter 25, verses 1 through 13. 10 young women prepared for a wedding unlike any other. They were waiting for the bridegroom, a figure wrapped in mystery, honor, and glory. Each maiden carried a lamp, its flame flickering with hope, for no one knew the exact hour of his coming. But they all had heard the same voice, "Be ready, for the bridegroom comes." As the sun set and the night fell, their hearts remained expectant. 5 of the virgins, known for their wisdom, not only brought their lamps, but also carried extra oil in the flasks. They guarded it closely, understanding that the light must be preserved in the darkest hour. The other 5, carefree and confident, brought no oil beyond what was already in their lamps. Their flames danced for a while, but slowly, silently, they began to fade. Midnight struck, and a cry pierced the silence. "Behold, the bridegroom come. Go ye out to meet him." The camp stirred in chaos. Sleepy eyes were opened. Lamps were grabbed. The 5 wise virgins poured their extra oil into their lamps. Their flames blazed anew, lightening the path ahead. The foolish virgins trembled. Their lamps were dying. They pleaded, "Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are gone out." But the wise replied, "Not so, lest there be enough for us and you. Go rather to them and buy for yourselves." As the 5 foolish rushed into the night to find oil, the bridegroom came. The doors were opened, and the 5 prepared virgins entered into the marriage celebration. Then the doors were shut. Later the others returned, knocking, begging, "Master, Master, open to us." But he answered, "Truly I say unto you, I know you not." And so Yahusha said also, "Watch therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man come." Matthew 25 and 13. In the final days before his return, Yahusha spoke a parable, not to entertain but to warn, a parable that divides the wise from the foolish, the ready from the unprepared. It is the parable of the 10 virgins. This wasn't a lesson for ancient times. It's a message for now. It speaks to all who claim to be following the Messiah, all who claim to be keeping the commandments, all who say they are waiting, all who carry a lamp and wear the name of belief. But Yahusha makes it clear, not all who appear ready will enter in. In this parable, 5 are called wise and 5 are called foolish. What made the difference? I'll tell you. The oil. The wise had oil in their lamps, the fuel of obedience, endurance, and the Ruach HaKodesh. The foolish had lamps, but no oil. They had form without power and faith without truth. This message is for the remnant, for those who are watching, for those who are trimming their lamps and keeping their oil full. It's for those who keep the commandments of Yahuwah and believe on the HaMashiach. The cry has gone out, and the bridegroom is coming. The question is, will your lamp be lit when he arrives? The parable of the 10 virgins found in Matthew 25, 1 through 13, is one of Yahusha's most urgent and prophetic warnings for the last days. In it, he compares the kingdom of heaven to 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. These virgins represent believers and those who keep the commandments, those who claim to be waiting on his return. Outwardly, they all appear ready. All 10 carry lamps. All expect to meet the bridegroom. But Yahusha makes a vital distinction. 5 are wise and 5 are foolish. The lamp represents our lives, our walk. Do you keep the commandments? Do you keep the holy days? Are you trying your best to do the will of the Most High? It represents our witness, our claim to the faith. But a lamp without oil is powerless. The oil in this parable symbolizes the Ruach HaKodesh, a set-apart spirit, but also a spirit of discipline, obedience, and a life of faith. It represents what fuels our endurance and gives light in the time of darkness. The wise virgins brought extra oil. They were prepared for delay, prepared for testing, and prepared to endure. The foolish, though they had lamps, did not bring oil. They had the appearance of devotion, but lacked the substance of it. As the bridegroom delayed, all 10 fell asleep. This shows how many become spiritually weary or distracted as time passes. But then at midnight, a cry rang out, "Behold, the bridegroom come." This cry represents the final call, the last moment to rise and be found ready. The wise virgins arose, trimmed their lamps, and entered in. When the foolish returned and begged to be let in, Yahusha said, "Truly I say unto you, I know you not." The parable ends with this powerful command. "Watch ye therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man come." This parable is not about the future, it's about now. It is a warning to those who look religious but lack obedience and faith. Only those who keep the commandments of Yahuwah and believe on Yahusha will be found wise, walking in truth and enduring in righteousness. The door will not remain open forever. The time to prepare is now. The midnight cry is sounding, and the bridegroom is near. This parable also mirrors ancient Hebrew wedding traditions, where the bridegroom would come unexpectedly after preparing a place. The bride and her companions, the virgins, had to stay ready, often at night, with lamps and oil. The marriage supper followed once the groom arrived. This helps to explain why the bridegroom delay and sudden return are central to the parable. Matthew 25, the parable of the virgins, parallel with Yehukanan 14. Both passages paint a picture of Yahusha as the bridegroom who has gone to prepare a dwelling for his people, but he is coming back for a prepared bride. Not everyone who claims to wait for him will be ready. Yehukanan, chapter 14, verses 2 through 3 reads, "In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also." But the question is, are you preparing for him? Yahusha's not just coming back, he's coming back for a prepared people. He told us plainly, "I go to prepare a place for you, and I will come again." And in this parable of the 10 virgins, he shows us the reality. Not all who are waiting will enter in. Some will be ready, others will be found empty, lamps with no oil, lives with no light. The oil cannot be borrowed, the door will not remain open, and the cry is already going out. So now the question remains, not just for others, but for you and for me. Will we be prepared? Will we be counted among those who keep the commandments of Yahuwah and believe on Yahusha? Or will we be among those standing outside, shut out from the marriage, with no oil left to offer? The time is now. Examine your lamp, fill your vessel, watch and be ready, because he is coming. The door represents judgment and separation. Once it's closed, there is no more grace. The foolish virgins represent those who looked the part but weren't in the covenant. This parallels the judgment that comes when Yahusha returns and begins separating the sheep from the goats. The prophetic meaning of the midnight cry symbolizes a sudden world-shaking event or a final warning when Yahusha returns. It could be a global judgment or a sign of wars, plagues, famine, etc. A final spiritual call to repentance, a call that awakens the wise but exposes the foolish. Let's take a look at 1 Thessalonians 5:1-6. It reads, "But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of Yahuwah so come as a thief in the night. For when ye shall say, Peace and safety, then sudden destruction come upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light, and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep, as do others, but let us watch and be sober." You may not know this, but Revelations 14:12 tie the parable directly to the identity of the wise virgins. Revelations 14:12 reads, "Here is the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Elohim and the faith of Yahusha." Yahusha described 5 virgins as wise, not because they had lamps, but because they had oil. And remember, oil symbolizes inner spiritual life, obedience, endurance, and the indwelling of the Ruach HaKodesh. These are not just outward believers. They are the remnant, the ones the book of Revelation identifies clearly. This verse gives us the identity of the wise in the end times. It is not those who simply claim to believe, nor those who merely keep the commandments without faith. The wise virgins are those who do both. They keep the commandments of Yahuwah, walking in obedience, living a set-apart life, and honoring his Torah. They have the faith of Yahushua HaMashiach, trusting in his blood, following his example, and watching for his return. These two together, commandment keeping and true belief in Yahusha, are oil that keeps the lamp burning. So when the midnight cry goes out, "Behold, the bridegroom come," it will not be enough just to have a lamp claiming belief. Only those with oil, those who walk in obedience and faith, will be ready to enter the marriage. And again, the oil cannot be borrowed. You won't be able to run to your favorite teacher, elder, or assembly and ask them to fill your lamp. Preparation must happen before the cry, before the shaking, before the door is shut. And when the door closes, it closes for good. The parable makes it clear that the foolish will knock, they will plead, and they will cry, "Master, open it to us." But the bridegroom will respond, "Truly I say unto you, I know you not." This is not a call to panic, it's a call to prepare. Now is the time to examine your life. Now is the time to return to covenant. Now is the time to make sure your lamp is burning and your vessel is full. Because when the cry is heard across the earth, it will separate the ready from the religious, the wise from the foolish, and the obedient from the careless. And only those with oil, those who keep the commandments of Yah and believe on Yahusha, will be welcomed into the marriage supper of the Lamb. So in conclusion, I just want to say, examine your oil. Are you filled or empty? Are you cut off from distractions and spiritual laziness? Pursue purity, prayer, and obedience. Stay ready for Yahusha, not just for the word, but in lifestyle. Fast, guard your homes, and separate from spiritual compromise. Thank you all for listening. May the Most High bless you and keep you all safe in this hour. And remember Matthew chapter 24 and verse 13. He that endures until the end, the same shall be saved. Until my next video, Shalom.